Welcome to the Mixed Reception Podcast. I'm your host, Barrett Sigmund, and today we have a very special guest, a returning guest, Jeff Beaulieu.
Hello. Molly's not here this time.
Yeah, so he is one half of the How Embarrassing podcast. Molly is not here today. How does it feel to be free from Molly?
Oh, it's like the world has been lifted off my back. She is such a burden.
She sucks sometimes.
She's always screaming about something. There's always an issue, and
always whining and complaining.
Right.
And I live with her.
Right, you live with her, so you know
it's tough. So yeah, you're part of How Embarrassing. You're part of Sketch Me Like One of Your French Girls, and you are one of the producers of Survivor Quarantine. Excuse me,
Survivor Social Distance.
Okay,
a lot of people call it Survivor Quarantine. I'm like, it's like an A to A type thing, but yeah, it is called Survivor Social Distancing. You can find it on YouTube, Facebook. We just got a group of improvisers to basically do a Survivor show over Zoom, and it was a lot of fun. And I think 3 episodes are out.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. It's really good. And I'm not even a Survivor fan, so you don't have to be a Survivor fan to like it. Check it out.
It's dipshitty and fun.
So 2-3 weeks ago, we were talking about like horror movies. Like we're on the porch drinking. And I don't even know how that came about. We started talking about Scream.
Right. Well, you love movies in general.
True.
I haven't seen most movies.
Also true.
I'm not a huge fan of just movies in general. I don't know. If it's a comedy and it gets bad, I get so mad that I turn it off. If it's a drama and it gets bad, I usually want to turn it off. But a horror movie that gets bad, I'm still glued to the screen. And luckily, this is not a bad horror movie.
No, it's not. So we got to talk about Scream, and yeah, I found out you're a huge Scream fan, and you had seen the first 3. I had seen the first one, but I hadn't seen any of the sequels, and neither of us had seen Scream 4.
Right.
So I felt compelled so I rewatched Scream 1, and then I watched 2 and 3 for the first time. And as I was watching Scream 3, and we didn't plan this, but I found out, I was scrolling through Facebook, and I found out they're making a Scream 5.
Yeah, I had no idea about that.
So Scream 5, it's going to be directed by, I'm butchering this name, Matt Bettinelli Olfen?
I'm not familiar with that.
Me either. And Tyler Gillett. They did Ready or Not, which is a great movie. Have you seen that movie?
I have not.
Oh,
is that a horror movie as well?
It's a horror movie. It's kind of a dark comedy horror movie.
I love it.
So basically, it's like this chick is marrying this dude, but his family's rich, and how they got rich is I guess they made like a pact with like the devil or something. And
I like it.
And they have to do this like wedding ritual. Like they have to kill her before midnight, or else they like die.
Whoa.
It's a really great movie.
I gotta check it out. That sounds awesome.
It's right up your alley. It's on Amazon Prime. But here's the thing with Scream 5, like,
it's not Wes Craven, man.
Well,
I feel like all the Scream movies are Wes Craven like babies. You know, like he does them so perfectly. They're some of the best movies ever made in my book. They have a good part of funny, they have a good part of horror, they have a good part of mystery, and they're nuanced on talking about themselves. He loves to get meta in his movies.
Oh, he does.
I enjoy when meta is done right.
Well, yeah, well, it's he's not coming back because unfortunately he passed away like 5 years ago. But I also just kind of feel like, and we're gonna get into all the Scream movies. It's like, what else can they do with Scream? Like Scream 1 is very much kind of poking fun of, calling out
scary movies in general.
The horror tropes, and the second one is basically kind of poking fun at sequels. The third one, trilogies. The fourth one, as we'll discuss in depth, kind of reboots and remakes.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. What do you do with Scream 5? I feel like they've said everything they need to say about the horror genre.
Right. I mean, but also I felt the same way before I watched Scream 3. You know, I watched the first 2 Screams, and I was like, these are genius movies. And then I was like, okay, where do you go after that? They've done scary movies in general, and they've done sequels. I mean, is trilogy really its own thing? That's just another sequel. It's a third sequel. Like, I mean, And which I don't know. Should we rank all the scary movies, or should that be later?
Oh, we'll do that later.
Okay.
I will say, okay, so I'm gonna say I'm against a Scream 5. If it comes out, I'll fucking see it. I will say, like, I like the directors they got. I mean, if they're gonna do a Scream 5, like I said, Ready or Not it's kind of a dark, kind of horror comedy.
Yeah.
So I mean, they might do a good job. I don't know if it has something to say. I'll be down. I don't know where they're gonna go with it, but
right.
So,
where do you go after remakes? Sequels of remakes? Now it's getting ridiculous.
I don't know. We got David Arquette. He's for sure coming back.
Cool.
Which, okay, it's a little tangent. What do we feel about Dewey?
God, like Dewey. Where do you even begin?
Okay, here's the thing. So I actually don't mind his character. I feel like Dewey is like this kind of dipshitty, like Barney Fife. Like, he's a horrible cop. So in his role in the first movie, I actually don't mind. But man, in the second and third movie, like, he has no reason to be there. Like, the second movie, so I guess Sydney's like in college in the second movie, and then he's like, "Oh, I heard what happened to you. I flew all the way from such and such. I left my job. I took time off from the sheriff's
Deputy.
office just to come here and make sure you're okay." When really he's got a bum arm. What's he gonna do?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about his bum arm.
Which goes away.
It just goes away.
Yeah, and then the third one, he's like, I guess he's helping them out on the set. He's
he's like security guard of this. No. He's helping them with the movie because he lived in the real original Scream situation.
I don't mind the character, but it's like, man, like, that's a reach to get him back in the second and third movie.
Do you think that was a choice? Like,
I think
because in sequels in general, like especially with horror movies and stuff, you just bring back anyone who wasn't killed off in the first one. You bring them back. And figure out a way to get them in it.
Well, I will say what's unique about Scream is because, like, if you look at like the Friday 13th movies and Halloween movies, like Halloween, like Jamie Lee Curtis is in a few of them, but for the most part, it's like a different cast. Same thing with like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. What I like about this series is there's like a core group of three main characters, and they come back for every sequels, which that's kind of unique.
Right. Well, I haven't seen the second I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, I still know what you did last summer.
I still know what God, what a title. But do they have the same cast of survivors?
Oh, it's funny. Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. come back. I don't think I saw the second one. But then they made a straight to DVD one like a couple years later. One? It's called I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. God. Yeah, Dewey, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind the character, but like, I feel like he really just has no purpose in the story.
Yeah, and I think
2 and 3.
I agree. I think that's kind of a thing in horror movies also, though. Like, when you really try to analyze characters in horror movies, most of them don't have a purpose except to, like, Dewey's purpose is just to be the cop that you feel like you can trust, but then you're always suspicious of him in every movie too. Like, I always think it's Dewey.
Actually,
first.
he is a red herring.
Yeah,
they set him up as a red herring.
Yeah, I always think every movie I was like, it's fucking Dewey,
and it never is because he's not smart enough to pull that off.
What did they name Dewey's character in the Scary Movie franchise?
Oh, like the parody movies?
Yeah, Scary.
Oh,
movies.
I have no idea. I have not seen those movies in ages.
It's like, it's something slightly. It's almost like Dewey, but it's like a even dumber name. It's like dummy.
I want to look this up. So okay, we know. So David Arquette is coming back for sure. I think Neve Campbell is in talks. Nothing's official, and I don't know about Courtney Cox. I really don't know if she's coming back or not.
I hope so. She's kind of what makes this movie. Also, I found what his name is in the Scary Movie franchise.
What is it?
Doofy. Which I think they should have named him Doofy in the actual movie.
Doofy!
Which, little fun fact, the reason that the parody franchise Scary Movie is called Scary Movie is because the original title of Scream was just Scary Movie, which I think is actually a brilliant name for this franchise since it's a meta franchise about scary movies.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't go with that.
I think the executives didn't like it. They had to change a lot.
Good old Weinsteins.
Yeah. Yeah, your classic Weinstein.
So, yeah, it's supposed to come out next year. So, Kevin Williamson, who wrote the first – well, he wrote 1 and 2, and he wrote this one, and I think he didn't write the third one. But he's not writing this one, but he is an executive producer.
So, it's a different writer and director?
Yeah.
It's going to be bad. We'll have to revisit it when it comes out on this pod.
I don't know. I like I said, I like the directors that they got. Like I said, if it has something to say about the horror franchise, the horror genre, I mean, I'm down. But
right. Well, you said that the writer of Scream, and at least the first 2.
Yeah, Kevin Williamson, he was the creator of Dawson's Creek. Do you remember Dawson's Creek?
I never watched Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
All I know is it's some kid who crawls into this girl's bedroom all the time.
Dawson Leary's kind of creepy. But he was huge in like the late 90s. He came up with Scream, and then he comes up with Dawson's Creek, and then he also wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer, which not a great movie, but it was very successful.
I think that shows what a director can do for a movie. Like the same writer for Scream was the same writer for I Know What You Did Last Summer, and they're on a completely different scale of good movies.
Well, I mean, you look at I Know What You Did Last Summer, that is as tropey as it gets.
Yeah, and it's just straightforward. All the main characters stay alive the whole time, which is like until the end. Like the suspicious character that you thought was going to be the murderer, you watch die very early on. They're like, maybe this guy's the murderer, and then they kill him off, and that's like not what you do in scary movies. You let the guy who you think is the killer survive as long as possible until he dies towards the end, and then you go, holy shit, it's not him.
Yeah, I remember as a kid I liked that movie and like rewatching it a couple
We're
weeks.
All dumb as kids.
Because we watched Scream 4 and then we watched I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Right.
And I was watching. I was just like, this doesn't hold up.
Even the 4th in a series was just by far better than an original.
Well, so let's get into like the franchise. How did you get into Scream?
So it's actually kind of funny because I actually saw, I think the first 3, maybe even 4 Scary movies, the parodies.
Yeah.
Before I had ever saw Scream. I loved the Ghostface mask as a kid because my oldest brother saw Scream when I was probably like 7 or so.
Okay.
And he came back and told me, oh, it's so scary and good and blah, blah, blah. And then we got the Ghostface mask that I used in Scream for Halloween. And that's who I went as Halloween. And I loved all the scary movies. Looking back on them now, they're fucking awful. There's some funny moments.
I barely remember. Is the first one the one where he's like in the bathroom stall and that like the dick is like coming out of the hole?
That might be the second one.
Okay.
The first one is basically a shot-for-shot remake of the original Scream, but horrible. And then the second one, they're all stuck in a haunted house.
Oh, that's the one where the guy with the weird hands is like mashing up the.
Yeah, the guy with the weird hands. And also David Cross was in it in the wheelchair the whole time.
Oh, I love that scene where he's about to fall, and the guy.
Yeah, he gets flung out the window.
Yeah, the gross hand guy is just like,
just grab my hand, and he's like, give me the other hand. That hand's gross, and he's like, no, this is my strong hand. And so he just leaps to his death instead of having to touch his fucking.
I barely remember these movies. I want to say I saw the 4th one in theaters randomly.
Oh, they got really bad.
They got really bad, but I kind of laughed because it was like Shaq and Dr. Phil are like in the room with the torture traps, and Shaquille O'Neal has to make a basket, and he's like, if you follow NBA, like Shaquille O'Neal is notoriously bad at free throws.
Yeah, okay.
And then it's just funny because like Dr. Phil's just like, come on, you can't even make that, you dumbass.
God.
But those movies are horrible. But so you saw those first.
I saw those first. I actually didn't see the first Scream until probably about like 2 years ago.
Holy shit!
I was listening to a podcast because for some reason I realized I always assumed they were kind of just shitty horror movies, and I was listening to a podcast that was just going into a deep dive about like the history of how it was made and everything, and it was so interesting. And they were talking about how much they loved the movie, and I was like, they were like, check it out, it's on Netflix now. The first 3 were on Netflix at the time.
Damn.
So I watched the first one and was like, holy shit, that was one of the best movies I've ever seen. And then I just binged the second and third. And I feel like the second lives up to the first. It's, I think, almost just as good. The third, a lot of fun. I enjoy watching it. Will watch again, but it doesn't compare to the third.
Everybody liked the first 2.
Right.
And the third one, people didn't like it. And then this one, well, that's why we're talking about it. It got mixed reviews, mixed reception. So
it was better than the third, I'd say.
I would say if I were to rank them, I would probably be like 1, 2, 4, and 3.
Exactly. Because the first one is just a real story where like the killer is trying to recreate horror movies and test people's knowledge on horror movies. The second one is all about the sequels of horror movies. And so it's in their world, the series is called Stab now instead of Scream.
And we have
so it opens up on the premiere of Scream 1, but it's called Stab.
We talk about that premiere. Like, Jesus Christ, that is ridiculous. They're handing out Ghostface costumes and they're watching the movie. And like that would just not fly.
The opening scene, they go to see this movie called Stab, which is Scream, it's Scream in this world. And they buy their ticket and they go, here you go, and they hand them a mask, the full like black sheet that goes over them, and a big fake knife. So as they walk into the theater, every single person in the theater looks like the Scream Ghostface Killer guy. And they're all just laughing and acting like they're stabbing each other, just like rowdy and throwing popcorn. I think that's such a great opening scene.
I like
it's just
it.
Over the top of like, someone is about to get stabbed by the actual Ghostface Killer now.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. It's so ridiculous. Like that this would even happen. But yeah, it is kind of cool because it's like you got this like the date is like being a snob about horror movies. And then he comes back as Ghostface and stabs her, but everybody thinks she's like playing a joke, and it's great.
Yeah, she dies like on the stage in front of the screen, and everyone's just cheering because they think she's acting. I thought it was such a awesome opening scene of the movie.
The third one was interesting watching because, so the third one's like the Ghostface is coming back. He's killing people on the production of Stab 3. Well, the third one's interesting because, there's a subplot where Sydney's mother, you find out, used to like be in movies, and she was like sexually abused and stuff, and it's like that's kind of an extra layer of creepiness because guess who produced these movies? The Weinstein.
Oh, of course. Weinstein has his hands on everything, and I'm not just talking movies.
So I saw this in high school, the first Scream.
Oh, wow.
My friend, my good friend, he was like, you got to watch Scream. And I think we rented it from Blockbuster, which tells you how old I am.
I mean, high school and Blockbuster goes with me too.
Yeah.
But I'm only a year younger than you. So.
That's true. We rented it from Blockbuster, and I honestly, I didn't think much of it at the time. And then
I can see how that would be as like a teenager.
Yeah. And I think what they were trying to do just like kind of went over my head. And then like I watched it a couple of years ago on Hulu. And I was like, oh, I like this. This is so like really good. And then, then we were like talking about Scream and horror movies. And I was like, okay, I need to rewatch the first one and like watch all these. The cool thing about Scream is obviously it was unique at the time because it kind of called out the horror tropes, but it revived the horror genre. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Like at the time, horror was like derivative.
It was dead.
It was just always the same bullshit. And they took that aspect of horror always seemed like the same bullshit and being like, what if we make it the same bullshit and comment on it and throw some awesome twist in there? I mean, it's like a murder mystery. You think that it's someone else who's the killer every 5 minutes in the movie.
Well, that's what I like about these movies because as I said before, like, what's cool about these movies is, like, one, it's like there's like a returning cast. There's like a group of characters that return
Right.
in all of these. But also what I like about it is it's very much like a whodunit.
Right.
Because, with all the Jasons and the Freddys and Michael Myers, like,
you know who the fuck maybe not in the first.
Well,
Jason.
you know who it is, but like they get killed at the end and then they come back, and with this, it's like it's a new killer every movie.
Yeah, the killer is actually being killed each time.
Yes.
Right? I believe so. Like, I believe it is a new killer.
It's a new killer every movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, to go back to the state of horror at that time, I mean, I don't want to say horror was completely dead, because you did kind of have some psychological horror movies like Silence of the Lambs and Misery.
What Lies Beneath was great.
That was like 2000, I want to say.
Yeah, I think
that was
2003.
That was post Scream, but like, you had these horror franchises, these slashers that were just on their last leg. I mean, you had Jason Goes to Hell. I've never seen this movie, but
I know I need to go through and watch
Jason gets blown up, and then I haven't seen this, but I've looked into it. A man eats his heart, and then Jason's soul is jumping from body to body. Like, that's.
Oh, so this is one of the few Jasons I think I have seen.
Yeah.
One of the
it's ridiculous.
I think the only Jason I've ever seen is like, he wasn't like slashing people to death. He would grab them, and then like this weird big tongue would come out of his mouth and just go down the throat of the other people to like live in them or some shit. Like,
I need to
steal their life. I don't know.
It's like the only Friday the 13th movie I haven't seen, because
but the only one I have.
Well, it's funny. I just watched reviews on it on YouTube, and it looks insane. And then you had like Halloween 6, which, like, I guess they made Michael Myers like part of this cult, and he like sleeps. He like impregnates his nephew, and
what?
Like, yes, this is a real thing. Paul Rudd is in that one. Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. That was like his first role.
That's crazy.
And then
I want to watch all these. I love a fucking shit show.
And then we come to Nightmare on Elm Street. Wes Craven also directed.
Also, the
New Nightmare.
The only one I've seen of the Friday the 13th trilogies, or not trilogies, series.
Yeah.
The only one I've actually seen is Wes Craven's, and did it come out before or after Scream?
So New Nightmare came out, I want to say in '94, but like, and it got well received, but it was a big like bomb.
Weird. I enjoyed it a lot, like, because I obviously knew all the lore of all those Friday the 13th movies. So in that one, it's very meta again. It's set. It reminds me of Scream 3. It's set in a world where they're filming a movie based on this shit, where the guy starts to come out again. So it's very Scream 3.
Oh yeah,
because they're filming the movie while the movie.
Oh yeah, it predates Scream.
Yeah,
but like, I guess it was probably too weird for audiences, because it was, Nightmare on Elm Street was already established franchise, and then just to pull a 180 and do something kind of weird like that.
Yeah, I like it,
but yeah, I mean, my point is, like, horror was just like the slasher genre, really in particular, was just dead.
Yeah,
and
people are tired of it.
And here's the thing about Wes Craven. It's like, because I was kind of like doing some research on him, and he's had a lot of like bombs.
Oh yeah.
But it's what's interesting about Wes Craven. It's like every decade, like 70s, 80s, and 90s, he like reinvented horror. Like in the 70s, he did like Last House on the Left,
right?
The original Hills Have Eyes, and then he had a couple of bombs, and then comes out with A Nightmare on Elm Street, and then had a slew of bombs, and then just you can never count Wes Craven out, and then just when you count him out, he comes out with Scream.
Right.
So he's a very interesting filmmaker.
Yeah, I think he's a little more of an artist than just a director.
Yeah.
Not to put down directors in general, but he takes the script and looks at it a specific way, and then decides where he wants to go with that script. And like, I'm sure if you just read the original script for the first Scream, it would seem just like a slasher movie. I doubt that all the meta stuff was even in it.
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, it's kind of interesting because there's such a contrast. It's like you look at same writer, Scream, and then How I Know What You Did Last Summer, and it's like completely different movies.
Completely different.
So it's I bet you there was probably like an element of the meta stuff, but I think Wes Craven. A lot of times, a director can go in and actually, kind of do something more with the script.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I will say this before we move on. Did you watch the Scream television show?
So after we watched Scream 4, I was craving more Scream.
You were Wes Craven.
I was Wes Craven, more Scream. And but none of them are on any streaming services anymore of the movies, except for MTV's Scream.
That's all I need to know, that it's on MTV.
Oh, it's an MTV. Yeah, it's an MTV show.
It's going to suck.
So I put it on being like, you know what? I know it's going to suck, but maybe not. And then about like 10 minutes into the first episode, I think I just pulled out my phone and started like watching YouTube videos instead, and then turned it off because I was just like, it's not going to go anywhere. It doesn't, like, all the Scream movies have something that draw you in within the first fucking 5 minutes of it. And it seemed like the only thing that was similar was that it was teenagers being killed by the Ghostface killer. Like, that's all. Like, there was nothing else to it.
What the fuck? How do you fucking make a series out of Scream? I just don't get it. Like,
it doesn't make sense. Scream's sort of a perfect movie that fits into a capsule of the movie.
It does not lend itself to a TV
Absolutely.
series. All right, so let's get into Scream 4.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. Reviews at the time.
Okay. Ooh, I'm excited to hear this.
Okay, yeah. So just let me know what you think about these reviews.
Sure.
If you agree, if you disagree. So Roger Ebert, my boy Ebes, Chicago Sun-Times, he gave it a 2 out of 4.
2 out of 4.
The actors do what they can in a film that doesn't care about human insights. The characters are almost preternatural in their detachment. If you were embedded in events like these, wouldn't you be paralyzed with panic?
I don't disagree with some of the things he's saying.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, like, what horror movie has people be so panicked that they take the smart route? That ends a horror movie.
Well, I'm going to make an argument. You look at Sydney, she's been through this 3 times. She's probably not panicking at this point.
Right. And Dewey and Courtney Cox.
Yeah, like for those 3, it's like, this is business as usual. This happens every couple of years.
Right. And then you have a bunch of dumb teenagers who are in high school who are in love with the Stab movies or the Scream franchise in a way, who glorify it. So they probably are just too young and dumb and naive to actually take it super seriously. You don't take things seriously when you're in high school.
But also, this is Scream, and it's not supposed to be taken that seriously.
Right. And what other Scream movie is like the and they seem panicked. It's not like they're laughing while being stabbed to death.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Yeah, you agreed with him a little bit at first.
But then, I was like, ugh.
Oh, we got Dennis Harvey, Variety. Overblown, overlong, and overstuffed with genre self-referentialism, yet undercooked in terms of credibility, worthwhile new characters, and memorable scares. It's not the razor-sharp reboot fans were hoping for. I don't think it's a super scary movie.
No.
Man, there's some good kills in this, and
there's some great kills.
We're gonna get into it. This never felt like overblown or overlong to me. I was into it.
I was into it every second. I guess I can kind of agree with like any new character wasn't real. I don't know. I
kind of like the
movie nerds.
I like the movie nerds, and I like the Hayden Panettiere character.
Oh,
and you know what?
So
you know what? I kind of like Emma Roberts' character. I liked all of them.
I didn't dislike anyone, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I don't know. In terms of credibility, I mean, come on, this is not. All these movies are so fucking over the top.
Yeah,
credibility. We should probably talk about this. Every killer.
What's your credibility, fucking person who reviews movies? Like, the only reason I get clicks on my article is because I go over the top. I get a shitty movie and I say, actually, it's 5 stars. And then I get a good movie and I say, 1 star. That's what you make your job.
I will say, every killer's motivation in these movies is so fucking ridiculous, especially the third one. Cindy's like the half-sister of the killer, and like, your mom left me, and
yeah.
I'm the director, and I'm directing this series of killings.
But in like almost every horror movie, like, what is there, or almost in real life, like, if there's like a serial killer, what is the reason that they are killing? It's not, they don't have a good reason. It's that they're fucking psychopaths.
Yeah.
You know, like, you don't need a reason to kill someone in the real world. Why do you need to in this fucking franchise?
Yeah, we got my boy Peter Travers here, Rolling Stone, 2 out of 4. Between a diabolically funny start and a surprise climax, Scream 4 offers nothing more than a series of gory deaths that grow tiresome with repetition. I mean, here's the thing with this.
I loved all of that.
This is the fourth one. I mean, I could see where people would kind of start to lose interest. I don't know. I was into it.
Yeah, I was expecting a lot worse from seeing Scream 3 that like didn't live up to Scream 1 or 2. I was expecting something worse than Scream 3. I'm curious to what these same people reviewed fucking for Scream 3.
Okay, this review is hilarious. I specifically picked this one. All right.
Okay.
This is Nick Pinkerton, The Village Voice.
Funny name already.
It's a good album by Weezer. The unengaged and overlong fourth Scream plops its self-awareness on a new generation who must endure a late 90s flashback that's aged as well as a new metal songbook.
Jesus.
Well,
what did he give it? 1 star?
I didn't get a rating.
Oh,
that was just a quote.
He just bitched.
Well, that's kind of the point, right? Because they're making fun of like.
Right. I think a lot of these people are missing the point of Scream movies. Like, it was basically a revamp of the night. Yeah. All of the Scream movies are
that's what exactly what it's
Scream.
Supposed to be, and it's making fun of that.
Right. Scream was a fucking comment on late 80s, early 90s horror films.
Yeah.
And so every other sequel is going to live in that world. I'm getting angry now.
Okay, well, so you know what? Don't worry about it, because the next 3 I'm going to read, they're positive.
Yes. Okay.
So
the world is just.
Richard Roper, I love this. Is the perfect. He gave it a 3.5 out of 5, and he just said, simply put, bloody entertaining.
Yeah,
I like that review.
I love that.
That's a good review.
Because if you're trying to pick it apart, sure, you can find things out. But it was fucking fun to watch. Like that's what I say. It was a fucking fun time to watch it.
We got Lisa Schwartzbaum.
She sounds smart.
Entertainment Weekly. She gave it a B-. It's a giddy.
Wait, what the fuck is a B-? I thought there was stars.
Entertainment Weekly, they do
grades like it's fucking high school.
Yeah, they do grades like it's high school. Hey, I didn't get no B- in high school. I would love a B-. It's B-. It's a giddy reminder of everything that made Scream such a fresh Scream in the first place. You know what, Lisa? I applaud you.
Yeah, it felt like a Scream movie, and that's all. Like
that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
We got Eric Cohen, IndieWire, quote, Scream 4 lacks the qualities that would make it a masterpiece, but it testifies to the clinical nature of commercial storytelling in sharp, nearly timeless fashion. Yeah, I agree. This is no masterpiece, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no. It was like, I feel like Scream 1 and 2 I would consider a masterpiece. Masterpiece. 3 and 4, just a good fucking time, and it reminds me of the masterpieces enough. Yeah, I think they're still really good.
Rotten Tomatoes, we got critics gave it a 60%.
Okay, fuck.
Audience 55.
Oh, fuck the audience!
Well, you know what? I think, so we're going to get into box office, but I just think people were just over it. You know?
Well, I think also, okay, so what? Scream 4 came out a full decade after Scream 3?
2011, so it's 9 years old.
9 years older than Scream 3?
It's 9 years old, like, as of now.
Oh, yeah. But it
came out 11 years after Scream 3.
Okay, so 11 years after the Scream 3, where 1, 2, and 3 came out pretty close to
Scream 1 was 96, the Scream 2 was 97.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
There's 2 masterpieces.
And then Scream 3 was 2000.
Okay. but still, like a long time after it's one of those things where you remember watching it when you watched it as a kid or whenever old you were, and it holding that place in your heart. And when there's a new one, a revamp or anything, it's not going to be as good. And I feel like they comment on that in the movie.
Oh, they do.
Because this movie is making fun of reboots. Like 11 years later, a Scream 4, and now it's talking about reboots. Isn't that fucking cool? Like, it's meta. It can be considered dumb. I think it's cool.
Consensus: the franchise is showing its age, but Scream 4 is undeniably an improvement over its predecessor, with just enough meta humor and clever kills. Actually, that's a pretty good consensus.
Yeah, it wasn't super. Scream 3 got a little too meta in a way.
Yeah,
I still love it.
I still liked it. Metacritic, we got 52, and then IMDb only a 6.1. Yeah,
out of 10.
People were mixed on this one.
Yeah, sounds like it.
We got box office, so we had a budget of $40 million. So in the U.S., it only grossed 38.
Damn.
And then worldwide,
I'm not surprised though. Like 11 years after, I don't know.
Yeah, worldwide it did 97 million, and it is the lowest grossing in the series. Well, here's the thing. Here's the risk of what you run into. Like, I think, I don't know. It's like you got kids that, like, when this came out, like, probably just didn't
get it.
Well, I think Scream had come out 15 years prior, so they probably just didn't really have any connection or really know about Scream.
True.
You probably had people who were like teenagers or, adults when the originals came out who probably maybe went to see this. But even those people, it's like, like the fourth one, like I'm over it. I just think people were kind of over it.
Yeah, I mean, my oldest brother saw the first one and loved it. I'm curious I don't think he's seen any other 2, 3, or 4.
I kind of, to an extent, I feel like this kind of came out at the perfect time because, like, God, there were so many fucking remakes and shitty ones at that.
Like, out of all the shitty remakes, I mean, this one's technically 4, so it's not a remake. But, I mean, when you go through the whole, like, what happens in Scream 4, they're back in the same town as the first one.
Yeah.
A lot of the kills are done in the same way as the first one. So it does hit that thing of a remake while being a fresh new movie.
Yeah, I would argue we needed this movie because somebody had to call out all these, like, remakes and reboots and stuff.
Right.
All right, notes. Put the opening scene with Stab 6 and Stab 7 fake outs.
Oh, man.
I love that.
Was there not a Stab 8 also?
So here's the thing.
It seemed like it went on for the first
Well, I
10 minutes
remember when we were watching this, I was like, okay, like, it was funny 2 times. If they do this again, I think I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, they did it the right amount of times. If you don't know what we're talking about, the movie opens up and they're like 2 girls watching a scary movie. And then it starts like every Scream movie starts with like usually a famous person being killed.
Yeah.
And that happens, but I don't think they were famous.
No, well, they were like teeny bopper famous. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't know who they were.
But then the second ones,
they die.
Yeah.
And then the logo for Scream 4, Scream
Stab
5.
6. The logo for Stab 6 comes out, and then it's Anna Paquin from True Blood, and then Kristen Bell. And they were watching that movie, and they're like, like talking shit about horror and shit, and then like they get killed.
Well, no,
she. Oh yeah,
one of the friends.
Kristen Bell kills Anna Paquin.
Yeah, she starts talking shit about horror movies, so she pulls out a knife and starts stabbing her in the stomach, and you're like, this is a weird intro.
Yeah,
and then the title screen for Stab,
and they're like, they're all like talking shit about the kind of the state of horror movies because at that point it was kind of like.
Another
torture porn,
Right.
That was kind of the big genre, at the time.
Right.
So, there you got a lot of meta shit right there, and then then finally we cut to the real girl who gets killed.
And I was half expecting that to be.
I know. I turned to you. I was like, okay, this is funny, but it's like if they do that again, I think I'm gonna be pissed.
It seemed a little more real that time.
What if the whole movie was just like?
I kind of would have been down for it.
Actually, I
was enjoying it.
I would have been like, that was really bold, Wes. guess.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna read about this.
We get a nice little callback though. Like Ghostface is killing. He's like chasing after the girl, and he crushes her with the garage door, and then he stabs her.
Yeah. So I think he gives her one stab, and she falls on the ground or trips her or something. She starts trying to crawl out of the garage door, and then he fucking starts closing the garage door. Paying homage to the original movie where he kills someone.
That's a great death.
Oh, that was
from the first one.
All the deaths in the first one are so good. All the deaths in this one were great too.
All right, so then we cut to it's like the anniversary of like the original killings. Like people are like decorating the towns with like with Ghostface masks.
The
and like
camera is scrolling down the street of where the Scream movie originally took place in this small town. And all the lampposts are covered in the Ghostface mask with the whole garment and everything. It's such poor taste.
Wait, I thought about this. Like, okay, if our like town had like a horrible tragedy, like, would we celebrate it? Like, that's like, oh my God, it's the 20th anniversary of Columbine.
Right.
Like, why would you do that?
It's like in Gary, Indiana, or wherever fucking.
I forget where it takes place. But.
Well, wherever fucking. Who is the serial killer who dressed up as a clown and killed people? John Wayne Gacy. It's like if it's whatever town that took place in, if every year they would put clown mask all over with knives and rope devices to like make fun of this like. All the fucking victims of John Wayne Gacy, like all the young boys who were raped in
L.A. The anniversaries for the OJ killings would put like little tiny gloves on the lampposts.
Gloves that just
throughout the
hardly
city
didn't fucking fit on the lampposts, and just bloody knives.
Yeah, I just like what the fuck. And then I put this: how the fuck is Dewey sheriff? He's an idiot.
Right? How the fuck is he sheriff? I mean, maybe. He got some I mean,
he's been on the force for what, like over 15 years.
He helped solve the murder of the original Scream movie.
He did.
So in the end, I think he is the one who saved them. Yeah. So he stopped the big serial killer. So maybe that's.
I mean, I don't really have a lot of problem with this. I'm just kind of making fun of Dewey because
yeah.
I mean, it is natural that he would. Be the sheriff.
Right. It makes sense to force him into the plot again.
Yeah, I like how nobody gives a shit about Gil in this movie. Like, I guess she's like kind of retired from doing the news.
Yeah, well, she doesn't now. She's writing fiction books instead of she used to be famous for her books about actual things that happened.
Yeah,
but now, what's her name? The other girl.
Oh, so that's the whole thing. Like, so Sydney comes back to town.
For her book
signing. So that's what kind of kicks this whole thing off.
And Gail is so jealous
of
her fame.
But I like when she's like in her house and she's like trying to write. It's like chapter 1. I don't know what the fuck to write.
Yeah, all mad.
We get the murder in the beginning, and then Sydney comes back in town for a book signing, and then so we find out like the killer put the phone in Sydney's car trunk. So that's kind of how this whole.
Yeah. Right away, the killer's like, I know you're back in town.
So they put some cops on her to like watch her and stuff. And I put, man, these are the shittiest cops ever. We got Anthony Anderson and Adam Brody from the OC. And they're horrible.
Right.
Because, oh my God. So I wrote this. So Anthony Anderson, I guess there's like, there's like 3 new girls in this movie. Played by Hayden Panettiere, and I think her name's Kirby. And then we have Emma Roberts, who, what the heck is her name? I don't know.
I'm not good with names.
But Emma Roberts' character is the niece of Sydney.
And then she has her 2 best friends.
Yeah. So
one who lives right next door.
So Sydney is staying with, her niece and her aunt. But yeah, so one of the hot friends is walking by, and Anthony Anderson's like, she can live next door to me, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, bro, like she's in high school.
Right, you're fucking.
Actually, I feel like a pervert because I just said that hot chick walking by. So wow, what does that say about me?
Hey, it's a movie. You know they're in their
they were in
late 20s.
they were in their 20s and stuff. But I'm just like, dude, like, come on, Anthony Anderson. Like, she's like fucking 17, dude. You're like 37. Come on.
And a shitty cop in a shitty town.
Yeah, but so Kirby gets this call. It's like Ghostface like fucking with her, and
Just
it's like,
think it's someone fucking with her.
yeah, and then like they think like, oh shit, the killer's in our house, and then the killer's like, I never said it was in your closet, and then so it's I got the girl's name, Olivia, who walked across the street. He's in her house, and this is a great kill. I mean, he's like chasing her, and then man, he stabs her, and like intestines are coming out and stuff.
Oh yeah, and then her friends are all in the house looking through the window at the other house, witnessing it happen.
Which I will say, like this movie, because I kind of looked it up, like I looked into it. Like the other movies, the MPAA kind of fucked them. They were like, you need to tone down like the gore and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, but this one, it seems like they went all out.
Yeah, do you know what this one was rated?
Well, they're all rated R, but yeah, I think they were just like more lax on this one because this one's, I would say, significantly more gory than the other three.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like reading and listening to things about the first one and like how much they had to cut back. They also had a whole issue with there was this actual stabbing in a school where they were supposed to be filming it.
Oh yeah,
that happened very soon before they were about to start filming.
Yeah.
And the whole town didn't want them filming a horror movie in their high school because someone did just stab a bunch of people in the high school.
I got a little fun fact. So the credits of Scream 1, it says, no special thanks to that school.
Really?
Yeah, they said, like, fuck you for not letting us film.
Yeah, because they ended up...
I found that out on the podcast, too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fuck you and the murders that happened inside your school.
We got Gail. She's like teaming up with the film nerds, Robbie and Charlie. Robbie, man.
Yeah, the fucking AD club of the school.
This fucking kid. This dude's fucking weird. He's got a webcam on and he's like filming everything.
Robbie's the like...
He's like the nerdy
the shorter haired blonde guy? Or is he the longer hair one?
I don't remember. He's just the nerdy.
He's the guy who was filming everything.
Yeah, he's the one who's like...
I hated it.
Yeah.
The other AD guy, I kind of like.
Yeah, he's a Culkin. I think Rory Culkin, I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah. He looked exactly like Macaulay.
Put this. Allison Brie, the book agent.
Oh, one of my favorites.
She gets stabbed in the stomach and then thrown off the top of the parking garage. That's a brutal death.
Right. Why the cops are, like, all around the area looking for this guy.
Oh, we should go back. The reason why these cops are so shitty is, like, fucking Olivia's getting killed next door, and like they don't even like they're like running around like in the opposite direction. They're horrible cops.
Right, yeah. I think is that when they got killed?
Oh,
or at least one of them?
No, we're gonna get to that though.
That was later. So they just totally missed that.
Yeah, they totally missed it.
Yeah.
But we got the classroom scene where so you got Sydney and you got Gail, and they're in the classroom with like the film nerds and stuff. And so you got Charlie and Robbie. They're kind of like establishing the new rules. They're the Jamie Kennedy of the movie.
Right. They're stating the rules of reboots.
Yes, and so they're kind of getting into like, you know, all there is now is remakes. Like the only horror movies that studios greenlight are remakes. And they kind of go into like, hey, like unexpected is a new cliche. And modern audiences get savvy to the original. So the kills have to be more extreme, and the reverse is the new standard.
Right.
And they also mentioned that you have to be gay in order to survive.
Yeah. Yeah. They did state that.
Yeah. So you have to be gay in order to survive. Police. This is funny because there's a scene where the police officer.
I think you had to be gay, white, and male.
Probably.
In order to survive.
Police officers will always die in horror movies, except for Bruce Willis, especially if they are near retirement. Better looking than the other person or have a newborn baby on the way. The original ending is a false ending in a remake, and the killer is always right behind you. So those are like kind of like the new rules of this movie. But I like that scene. That's a cool scene.
Oh, I love all those scenes and all of it. Like whenever they get into the rules of like who dies first and stuff like that in any of these Scream movies, I'm always like on the edge of my seat listening to that conversation because it paints what you expect to see in the movie.
Yeah.
But they always flip it.
Oh, yeah.
There's always a twist anyway. So like, but it's cool to see like it's basically like Wes Craven and the writer being like, this is what I see in horror movies and stating it to the audience.
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny because they're the Jamie Kennedy of this series, or this movie. I fucking can't stand Jamie Kennedy. I think he's irritating as fuck, but I like him in the original Scream.
Yeah,
movies.
yeah.
Like,
He's great in it. I mean, it's him and the dude who played in the live Scooby-Doo movie.
Oh God, Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a
two
lot
of the most annoying.
God, they are. They are.
But they're great in those.
They are great in those movies, but man, they are annoying.
Yeah, the worst.
Also, we need to mention that the boyfriend in the original movie, the actor's name is Skeet Ulrich. Skeet Ulrich. Wow.
What was he named after? A Doug Funny character?
Skeet. So they bring up the fact that they're going to do the Stabathon.
Right, Stabathon.
So
watching all 3 stabs.
Yeah, or no, I think all 7 at this point.
Oh yeah, at this point, all 7 in one night.
So Gal's like, "Hey, tell me where like this party is."
Right,
and they're like, "Fuck off, Boomer."
Yeah, they say, "Fuck you, Boomer."
Yeah, they pretty much tell her, "Fuck off, Boomer." But somehow she finds out where it is. So it's in a barn. But I like this scene because it's like Gail. It's like she puts on the ghost face mask and she's like kind of like trying to be cool. She's like,
yeah, she's trying to get around to watch things.
But I also like this scene.
She starts setting up cameras around.
Yeah,
film
the webcams.
To try to catch.
Which that kind of plays into like where horror was at the time. You had a lot of found footage movies.
Right. And then she turns and sees a camera that she did not set up, pointing towards herself.
But just to go back real quick, I like how like when she's at this party and you got people dressing up as Dewey and Gale and like all the characters
right
from the original movies.
Yeah, and she's actually there.
But yeah, I put the barn scene. I said I like the webcams and everything. I like this is actually a well done scene. Like it's actually like pretty suspenseful.
Well, yeah, she turns and she sees that there's a webcam she did not set up that is pointing towards her.
Well, I think she's like watching the webcams from her car, and then she sees that they're turning off. So she, like a dumbass, like goes to check on them.
That's right.
And then I think Dewey comes and like he's like looking in her car, and he sees that like the killer is like right behind Gail. So like,
but she also sees a webcam that she didn't set up herself.
Right. Yeah.
That was the killer's webcam because one of the rules that the AV nerds said earlier is to make an ultimate remake now, like. To remake the stab scenarios, you would want your killings to actually be live.
Yep.
So that you can see what exactly happens is the new thing of what would be happening. So she sees a camera she did not set up in the loft of this barn pointing at her. And then, as the watcher of this, you see the Scream guy coming up behind her as she's checking it out.
That's a good scene.
Yeah, they get into a huge fight.
But so she gets stabbed, and actually this is like, Gail's kind of like, she's not in this movie a lot. She gets stabbed, and she's like in the hospital for like the most of the second act, like the
That's
second
true.
act.
Yeah, she goes to the hospital.
So that scene's good. And then, so you got the cops still surveilling the houses and stuff. And they see that a window's open, and this is like, oh my God, this is a great kill. You got the dude from the OC, Adam Brody, he gets killed, and then you get Anthony Anderson just gets stabbed in the head.
Yeah, a nice, clean, it goes through his fucking forehead like butter. I'm like, I'm sorry, but the cranium is a little stronger than that.
Like, Jesus Christ! And he's just like walking around, and like all this blood and stuff in his eyes. I mean, it's we're going to get into categories. I think that might be my best kill.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
A little too unrealistic.
Well, speaking of kills, the next kill, you got Ghostface trying to go into, like, Sydney's aunt's house, and then we get the knife through the mail slot. The knife through the mail slot. That's a great death.
No, yes. Oh, like man. The knife through – oh, man. Yeah. What, she, I think, heard something and it kind of pushed her back to the door to – barricade it in with her body, and then all of a sudden the little fucking mail slot opens. And just,
no, that's great.
Right in her back.
And then, so everybody's like hanging out at, I think, what is it, Kirby's house? Like Charlie the nerd is like almost hooks up with
Yeah,
Kirby?
it's Kirby's house.
Yeah, you find out that they're like both like hardcore like film. Well, we already knew he was like a horror nerd, but like she's like super into horror.
Yeah, she's a
and like
low-key.
I was like kind of digging this scene. I was like, okay, I like this. Like they're about to hook up, and then fucking Jill's Emma Roberts, like her fucking boyfriend, who is a red herring in this.
He seems like the killer the whole time.
He fucking cockblocks him. He just like walks in,
and
I'm just like, God damn it.
He's like, why wasn't I invited? Hey.
Oh, I put this. This is my next point. I want a stab T-shirt. Charlie's wearing, not Charlie. Robbie is wearing a stab T-shirt.
Right. I gotta get one.
I gotta get that stab T-shirt.
We gotta get
it's really cool.
I gotta look online. But this scenario, this whole scene turns into maybe one of my favorite parts of this movie. Is this while they're all trapped in the house? It reminds me a lot of the first Scream, and I mean they specifically go back to scenes that happened in the first Scream, because all of a sudden I believe a call comes in, there's noises outside, they're all scared, and they split up a little bit throughout the house. The next thing I remember, they're split up, and I believe it was Kirby's character is looking out the window and sees AV nerdy guy. Charlie is taped up in a chair out back of their house.
Nice little homage to the original.
Same to the original. There's so many kills in this one that play homage to the fucking original, which is kind of because it's kind of a remake. Yeah. You know, like they made it enough of a remake and enough of a new to be perfect. But yeah, and then she gets, a call from Ghostface, and he's going through and asking her questions about horror movies to let her boyfriend live, or like this guy that she likes, likes live. And then I believe she thinks she gets it right.
And then she like comes out.
Yeah, she goes out.
She goes out to save him, and then fucking stabs him.
Yeah, as soon as she lets him free, Charlie fucking stabs her.
But Jeff, you're missing one of the best part of the movies. The death of Robbie Mercer. He's like drunk, and he's like hanging out on the porch.
Oh, the nerd with the video camera.
And then fucking Ghostface gets his ass. But like one of my this might be quote of the movie. Like, oh, like you can't. There's rules. I'm gay if it helps.
I'm gay if it helps.
Yeah. So and then and it's so funny because
that he was actually gay, or he's saying that to save his life.
I think he was gay. What do you think? What's your gaydar read on this guy?
Yeah, he could have been like a Clay Aiken gay.
Actually, I don't know. There is a part in the movie where he's like, "Hey, I want to fuck Gail." I think he was. I don't know. Maybe he was saying it too.
In that moment, it seemed like he was just trying to say anything to survive, and it seemed a little campy at this point too. Like it seemed like he wasn't invested in trying to save his life. It was like a joke, being like, "I'm gay if it helps," and then stab.
Well, what I like too is like Ghostface is kind of like for a minute he's just like considering it, and then he just fucking kills him.
It's like, "I don't think you are." I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, fucking Kirby dies, man. That was a fucking bummer.
Yeah, and then fucking Charlie steal. I think that was one of the craziest parts of the movie. I was not expecting it. Like you would think after seeing fucking 3 Screams, I would expect that everyone is possibly the killer at all times. And I really didn't think Charlie was one of the killers. Turns out he fucking stabs her.
Yeah. With the exception of the third movie, there's always 2 killers. We find out Jill, Emma Roberts, is the second killer.
But that's a little bit later in the movie. I mean, because for a second, it seems like it's resolved and the movie's about to end. And this guy, I think they kill Charlie.
Well, no, Emma Roberts kills Charlie. It's like pretty much they pretty much do, like it's pretty much a recreation of the kitchen scene from the original movie.
From the original, that's right. Yeah, and then she
fucking kills his ass. Oh, and she shoots the boyfriend in the dick. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
I put in my notes, shot in the dick! Exclamation mark.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, Jill's like, hey, like you always got the attention, and like Basically, Jill wants to be famous.
Yeah, Jill is mad at
Sydney,
because her aunt has taken all her life away from her. Because everyone always just asks her about her aunt's story and not her own. So she wants to create her own. So she caused all this to happen. Fucking stabs her aunt, stabs Charlie, tries to kill.
She fucking kills Charlie.
Yeah, kills Charlie.
Shoots her ex-boyfriend in the dick.
Yeah, she thinks she kills Sydney, but then we go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And when we get to the hospital
scene, she gives herself away too.
Yeah.
I think Dewey or somebody comes in and is like, "Oh yeah, Sydney's right, or Sydney's okay," and she's like, "Oh yeah, like how's her shoulder?" And he's like,
I never said she got stabbed.
I never said she got stabbed in the shoulder. But I put this Sydney versus Jill. Like Jill tries to come in and like kill Sydney, and that's a pretty good fight.
Oh yeah. Sydney, like, so they both, you know, Jill shot herself in a place that would be a wound but not kill her.
Yeah.
After thinking she killed her aunt Sydney, so they're both in the hospital at the same time. Jill realizes that Sydney's not dead, and she's like, fuck, if I don't kill her, I'm caught.
Yeah.
So goes in the middle of the night over to her hospital room to try to kill her. Obviously has to do the whole speech about why she did everything instead of just going in there and killing her quickly.
Well, every fucking movie does this.
Yeah, every single movie.
Yeah, you gotta have it.
You gotta. And then, that turns into a big fight. And I think that
Dewey comes in to intervene and just in typical Dewey fashion gets hit in the head.
And knocked out.
Do you remember the third one where he Ghostface throws the knife at him and it he doesn't get stabbed, but he gets hit with the butt of the knife. The blunt end of it
gets fucking and just knocks him out.
I just Dewey's so worthless.
Yeah, he's supposed to be. That's who he is.
Yeah.
But then, I think during that fight is my line of the movie.
Oh, so there's a couple. So Gail comes in. She gets involved. And
wait, where does she come from?
Yeah, I don't know. She's like in the hospital room. I think she's just
checking on Sydney and Jill.
Yeah,
probably.
She just fucking comes in. I think Sydney's like incapacitated, but she's like also fucking with the defibrillator while Gail is like kind of like trying to like buy her some time. And then Gail's just like, "Can I have one final word?" And Emma Roberts is like, "What?" She's like, "Clear!" And then fucking Sydney gets the defibrillator. That was
puts
awesome.
it on either side of her head.
That was a good
fucking
scene. But as in typical Scream fashion, there's always like a last minute like scare.
Right.
And like Emma Roberts pops up. Sydney's like, "You forgot the first rules of remake, Jill. Don't fuck with the original."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we clapped when we watched this.
Yeah. Dude,
it was great.
Line ever. You forgot the first rule of remakes.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with the original. And then she just fucking stabs her. Ugh. And it was like such a rewarding part of the movie. Such a great way to end the whole killings and
and the news
basically
and it's funny, the news crew is all like, "Oh, like Jill is such a hero," and they have like no idea that she's actually like a crazy bitch.
Right. Yeah, because the news always fucks everything up.
Yep. You ready for some trivia?
Yeah.
All right, so did you know Courtney Cox and David Arquette were married?
I did.
So, and they were going through a divorce when they were filming this movie.
Oh, really?
So there was like a little bit of tension, but they remain professional for the most part.
Okay.
You know, I'm glad when two people can come together,
work
despite
together.
their differences.
Yeah.
You know, can make a good movie.
I feel like Hollywood marriages are different than real marriages.
Screenwriter Kevin Williamson, I guess he had some clashes with the Weinsteins over this movie, and I guess he still gets partial writing credit for this movie, but they got the guy from Scream 3, Aaron Kruger, to like go in and do some rewrites.
Wait, so the writer of Scream 1 and 2 was not involved in this one at all?
He was, but they got the guy from Scream 3 to kind of do some rewrites. So it's Kevin Williamson and Aaron Kruger. Those fucking Weinsteins, man.
Yeah. It's like you fuck movies.
You fuck women against their wills and screenwriters.
Yeah, which one's worse? Let's think about it.
I thought this was interesting because I could not tell. For the first time in the franchise, a CGI added knife was used because director Wes Craven wanted to avoid using prop knives that are rubber, cardboard, and collapsible. I couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell at all.
Yeah, that's a pretty damn good CGI.
Yeah, I saw that fact also, and when I was watching because we watched this movie a couple weeks ago. I was watching the video of all the recaps of all the killings, and I remember them saying that this is the first time they used CGI knives, and I tried to start looking at the knives, and technology in 2011 was good enough to fool me.
I thought this was interesting. The roles of Chloe and Rachel, which I think are the chick from True Blood. What's her name? And
one of the opening scenes.
Yeah, one of the opening scenes was supposed to be Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, that would have been
dude!
So
I would have
awesome.
loved that.
Honestly, like House of Wax is one of my favorite horror movies with Paris Hilton.
I liked it at the time. I'd be interesting to go back and revisit
it's a disaster mess, but it's so fucking.
I liked it at the time.
Paris Hilton's killing it. It's so good. I love Paris Hilton.
So it's funny. So me and Molly have been rewatching The Simple Life.
Yeah,
because we're bored and it's
quarantine.
It's fucking quarantine. And I was kind of getting into it. It's kind of funny. I love when like Paris Hilton like falls off a horse and she's like, "Oh, I went too fast."
I truly believe that Paris Hilton is a character, and like her true self is probably a pretty bright, down to earth individual.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Paris Hilton. She's a great actress. She was in this movie. I don't know if you've heard of it. One Night in Paris.
No, I haven't heard about it. What's that one about?
It takes place in a hotel room, and there's a lot of
like a horror.
No, it's not horror. I wasn't scared watching it. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Wait, do you know what I'm really talking about?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Okay.
I was doing it for the bit.
At a table read on June 25th, 2010, the actors and actresses were told to stop reading at page 75 to prevent those already cast in the film from knowing the climax.
Cool.
Ooh.
Well, Scream has a history of leaks and having the ending come out before the movie's even finished being shot, which happened, I believe, during Scream 2, was that people got a leak. There was a leak.
So yeah,
ending,
Scream 2, like,
and then they incorporated that
leaked
into
on,
Scream 3 because no one in Scream 3 they're recording Stab 2, they're making the movie, or Stab 3, whatever it is. They're making the movie, and they realize that people are actually dying at the same way that the script is written. But then it gets to the point in the script where everyone had different copies so that they could figure out if there was a leak, who had the leak. So no one knew exactly what the next kill would be. They had like 5 different options, which I thought was a really cool aspect of Scream 3.
Okay. In the early draft of the script, Gail and Dewey had a baby, but that was changed after it was decided bringing a baby into the film would make shooting impossible. Yeah, you can't be having you didn't need a baby.
Why add a baby?
Well, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It just would have complicated things.
Yeah.
Lauren Graham from, what's that show?
I don't know.
Gilmore Girls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Last thing I was expecting to be related to Scream.
She was originally cast as Jill's mother, and then she dropped out because I guess there was a lot of script rewrites. Like going back to what I said earlier,
right.
Like Kevin Williamson wrote it, and then they brought in the guy from Scream 3 to do some rewrites.
I mean, also Jill's mother is not a big role in this movie.
No,
I feel like as soon as she dies.
Yeah, if Lauren Graham was in this, though, I feel like it would have been bigger.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
because her mother in this sucks. Kind of.
I feel like you meet her within minutes of her dying.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh, I thought this was cool. I don't know if you noticed this. So obviously, Scream, it was a Miramax production. Miramax did Clerks. Just like in Scream, there's a VHS copies of Clerks on top of the TV. In this movie, we get a copy of Clerks 2.
Nice.
I like that. I like the Kirby character, and apparently there was a scene that she was revealed to be she survived, but they cut it. I like Kirby, the Hayden Panettiere character.
Like towards the end or something, it was like she survived. As much as I like that character, and I would love to see her come back in Scream 5, I don't know if that would have. I think that would have been a step too far to keep having other people come back. Like in the Scream series, the main 3 don't die.
Yeah.
And they're not the killers.
I could see that.
You always think they're going to die. She's
so likable, though.
She is so likable.
Yeah. The original opening would have taken place at a party celebrating Sydney's completion of her book, during which Ghostface would have attacked and Sydney would have been badly stabbed. The rest of the film would have then taken place 3 years later. However, this opening was vetoed by Bob Weinstein, who thought the time jump disrupted the flow of the film. I actually agree. We should also
know. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that would have been a cool fucking opening.
You think so?
She was stabbed and died, Sydney, right in the beginning? That would have been
not. She wouldn't have died. She would have been badly stabbed, and then I think she would have been freaked out, and then it would have cut to 3 years later. You like that?
I kind of like that. I mean, I like what they went with, with the kind of corny, campy let's watch the intro of 3 fucking Scream movies.
No, that was way better. That was fun.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the thing.
Yeah,
I agree with Bob Weinstein. Which Bob Weinstein's a good Weinstein. Let's just make that clear. Harvey's the pervert. Bob is the good guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Bob has some things come out.
God, watch right after this podcast comes out, Bob Weinstein's gonna have all this stuff.
Right before it comes out, the day before this one's released.
Trevor, Jill's boyfriend, was originally meant to be Ghostface in early drafts of the script, but this idea was quickly vetoed after it was seen too derivative of the first film. I totally agree.
The boyfriend?
Yeah, you can't have him be it.
Nah. Well,
I like that.
They would have made him obviously look like it in this one, but if he was. But I liked his character as this one was, where it was a boyfriend who she wasn't really super into anymore, but was kind of keep trying to be in her life. It made him look creepy, and it made him seem like he was the killer. And it was good to have him die and not be the killer.
Oh, yeah, totally. Categories. What's the best scene of the movie?
Oh, the best scene in the movie. The first thing that jumps to my head is the whole scene where they're in their house, and after the killings have already started, and specifically when Charlie is taped up in the back, and then when she releases him, he fucking stabs her right away. I just was it reminded me of the first, right when I saw that scene, I was oh, just like the first movie, and then I feel dumb that I wasn't expecting Charlie to stab her the second that he was released, but I really wasn't. And I think that might be my favorite scene.
All right, so God, this is kind of tough. Okay, so for me, it's down to the opening with the fake outs.
That was awesome.
Or the ending with the
hospital scene,
the hospital face off, and then the clear, and then don't fuck with the original. You know what? I think I'm going to have to go with the hospital face.
Yeah, that would be my second choice
great.
As well.
Yeah, because I was cheering when Sydney was don't fuck with the original.
Yeah, no, I was so fucking happy. I mean, the intros, I loved the intro of the movie, but they weren't really part of the movie.
No.
To me. I don't know. I just loved the whole
that was just
recreation of Charlie being tied.
That was just a nice little wink to the audience.
But also the fucking barn scene, I thought
that's good too.
There's a lot of good scenes in this movie. But I'm gonna stick with the Charlie.
Well, here's the thing. So the next category, worst scene. I don't that's hard.
Worst scene?
There was not a scene in this movie I disliked.
I don't know. Maybe when Sydney was doing her book signing, wasn't there a part where she was doing book signings? I feel like I forgot all the quote unquote bad scenes.
Yeah, this is tough. I think
the cops.
I didn't even hate them, but if I had to go with a worse scene, I would probably go with them.
Yeah. I'm thinking the cops or I don't know, any scene that just. It was probably all the scenes that were probably 30 seconds long and just they were more about the plot than anything happening. And they were good for the whole movie, but I don't know the worst scene. It's kind of shitty because
I might have to go with an NA on this one.
Yeah, I mean,
because here's the thing. I don't think this movie's perfect, but there's nothing that's bad about it either.
Right. I guess maybe when they were completely basically redoing the last scene in the first Scream series, but it was Jill who was the badass. I couldn't really picture Jill as a badass. And like during her whole speech, I was just like, fuck you.
Yeah,
I guess that's what you're supposed to feel against the person who's being like, I'm the one behind all of this, and I even killed the people who were on my side. You're supposed to hate them, so it's not a bad scene.
I think I'm going to have to go with an NA. That's a first for this podcast, an NA.
I don't know.
And here's the thing. This is far from the best movie I ever talked about on this podcast, but like there's nothing
What's the best movie you've talked about on this podcast?
Oh God. So this is going to be like episode 8. So we haven't done a ton.
Okay.
But I think my favorite movie that I think we've talked about is probably, you know what? I'm probably gonna have to go with
Gremlins.
Probably Gremlins too, which you were on.
All right. Well.
No. I backed that out. Let me back up. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That's the best.
Okay.
I want to go with an NA. Best quote. This is a no-brainer. Don't fuck with the original.
Yeah, by far, that's my favorite quote. What was your other thing?
I was gonna. A close second would be like, you can't. It's part of the rules. I'm gay if it helps.
Oh yeah, that's also a great line.
Okay, this one. I have one for this one. Best unintentional comedic moment. Okay, when Jill is revealed to be the killer, she's got to like, make it seem like she got hurt and stuff. And she's like running into like the mirror and like jumping on the table.
Oh yeah,
I laughed out loud. That was like that
slamming stuff.
Yeah, that was supposed to be like whoa, but really I laughed.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was thinking like we haven't really talked much about Alison Brie at all, and she was like a reporter in this whole thing.
No, she wasn't a reporter. She was Sydney's book agent. She's the one that gets thrown off the parking garage.
That's right. I feel like there's some like unintentional funny scenes during her death too, where she like was supposed to be pleading for life, but she was also like mad at the guy, so like not doing a good job at pleading. Yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna go with Jill.
Yeah, that part was
I laughed my ass off when she just like ran into.
But it's hard to see what is intentional and what's not.
I don't know. It was just funny to me.
It was, but like, was it? Maybe it was intentionally supposed to be funny.
I don't know.
Like these Scream movies, I laugh at a lot, and I'm not sure if I'm laughing at them or with them.
All right, we got best performance. You know what? It's between Neve Campbell and you know what? I really liked Hayden Panettiere in this one. I thought she was good. She was the Kirby,
Kirby.
The chick.
Okay, yeah. I think I would have to go with Kirby.
Yeah, I thought
she did a great acting job, and I just wanted to be her friend the whole time.
She was like,
she seemed so fucking cool.
Well, it was kind of cool too. Like she seemed like one of those like popular girls who's like,
actually
really
down to earth.
She's like really down to earth. And, yeah, I thought she had good chemistry with Charlie, and like you really buy it when she like wants to, she's trying to save Charlie when he's attached to that chair. I want to go with Kirby. I want to go with Hayden.
I'd have to go with her, or I just think Courtney Cox is a great actress.
Courtney Cox.
She's not huge in this specific one, but
yeah. No, I'm gonna go with Dewey. No, I'm kidding. He's
not bad.
No, nobody's bad in this movie. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, I'll go with Kirby.
I'm going to go with Kirby. Hayden Panettiere. Now, this is kind of tough. Worst performance?
Worst performance?
Should we go with Emma Roberts? She kind of hams it up at the end.
Yeah, Emma Roberts isn't great. I don't think nerdy guy with the camera on his head is great either.
I didn't mind him. I'm going to go with Emma Roberts. I don't even dislike her in this movie, but she does like. Well, here's the thing: all the killers at the end of the movie ham it up. So I guess you could argue that's the point, but I'm gonna go with Emma.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the guy who tried to
Charlie.
Yeah,
or not
Charlie.
Robbie.
Robbie.
Okay, and then best death. This is a no-brainer. It's got to be Anthony Anderson getting stabbed in the head. You could make a really strong case for the girl who.
I can think of like 3 or 4.
Oh, okay. Well, let's hear it.
I mean, right away, I'm thinking of her freeing Charlie and then him just stabbing right after.
Yeah.
Which I think will be my choice. I'm also thinking of the garage scene.
That's good.
I love how it's like I love the ones that are playing homage to the original movie, and also like fucking putting what is it called? The shock hospital thing.
Oh yeah,
and then her coming back and then stabbing her again.
Emma Roberts does have a pretty good death.
But
I gotta go with Anthony Harris.
I'm going with Kirby's.
Okay.
I'm going with Kirby's. It was just such a surprise for her. Like they set it up for her. The only way that she would be killed in that moment was to try to save Charlie and kill her. Like it was such a betrayal.
All right, so we're going to play Fuck, Marry, Kill, Raise. This is a game you guys play on how embarrassing. It just feels fitting to include it into this podcast.
You don't play this on every episode?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I don't. This is only when you and Molly are on. Okay. I don't steal people's bits.
I mean, no, you could. I mean, it's not like we came up with this game.
Actually, no. This game has been around forever.
Yeah, we added Raise to ours.
You did, so that makes it a little unique.
Are we gonna do Raise? Do we have 4?
Let's do Raise.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we can choose anyone from the entire movie.
Anybody in the entire movie.
Okay. Shit. I should have thought about this beforehand.
I'm gonna fuck Hayden Panettiere because god damn it,
she's fucking beautiful.
She's beautiful. I love her hair, and I've always had a crush on her since Heroes. I don't know if you remember that show.
Oh, that's what I know her from.
Yeah, she was the cheerleader. Save the cheerleader.
That's
save
right.
the world.
Oh,
because I just want to have sex with her now. I think we established in the last episode we did, if you marry that person, you cannot fuck them.
Right.
So, God. I guess I'll go with I'm gonna go with Sydney because I mean she's pretty. And it sucks I can't fuck her, but she'd be cool to hang out with.
I guess. I think also if you're with Sydney for more than a day, you're gonna die.
Probably.
Everyone around her dies.
I'm gonna raise Robbie because somebody needs to raise him because he's being a weirdo. Granted, I like his stab t-shirt, but he's being a weirdo with his little webcam. So
yeah, get your webcam off and come out and pause
I'm gonna be a good father and whip out the belt and teach you. So and then fuck, kill, marry. Oh, who would I want to kill? Yo, the boyfriend, like the ex-boyfriend. He sucks. He so
does
lame.
Suck.
He's so lame. I want to kill him. So that's mine.
Okay. I'm gonna fuck Dewey.
Okay. Wait,
I find him oddly attractive.
Okay, that's fine.
Maybe it's the cop uniform. I feel like any type of uniform makes a guy look
That's
better.
very interesting that you would be attracted to the cops nowadays.
I don't like cops. There's just something about a uniform. I don't know.
Hey.
Maybe it's the mustache. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't find him attractive in any other movie he's ever been in.
I don't like his mustache.
I usually don't like mustaches. But out of everyone in this movie, I think he's the best. Mary, I will marry Gail. She's got money, she's independent, and she's powerful.
Oh, that's a good point.
To
go back to me marrying Sydney, she's got money because of that book deal.
Right. Gail has more book deals.
Actually, she has. Yeah, good point. I didn't think of that.
And then to raise, I've raised and kill left. I think I want to raise Charlie because Charlie seemed pretty cool, and I think if I raised him, he wouldn't become a killer. He would have just been the same nerd without actually killing people.
Okay,
I could have showed him some love in life that he doesn't feel like he needs to kill people to belong in the world, and he could just be a cool nerd and get with what's her name? Kirby.
I like.
Yeah, and then he could get Kirby, and then Kirby would be my stepdaughter.
Kirby reminds me of that the N64 game. So another reason why I like Kate.
She was sucking a lot of shit.
And then kill. You got to kill somebody.
I would kill Jill. I'd easily kill Jill.
Yeah,
she was my least favorite.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't believe you didn't fucking Allison Brie.
I'm a Hayden guy.
They're both so fucking beautiful.
I do. Oh, Alison Brie's hot. Oh God, I just always been.
But her character in this, I wouldn't want to marry or phrase.
Just I don't know. I just
I'll kill Jill. She seemed like a whiny little bitch.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You're trying to kill everyone because your aunt is more popular than you are because a bunch of people try to kill her multiple times in a row.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, like, so now you want to kill, like, dumb fucking excuse for wanting to kill people, Jill. You're dead.
Yeah. Also, too, like, it'd just be fun to fuck Hayden because, like, we watch a horror movie and we can fuck.
Yeah, she's
fun.
down to earth. She'll joke around watching a horror movie with you.
Tickle my balls.
Yeah, tickle the balls.
Yeah. All right.
Your parents listen to this?
They do. It's okay. It's okay. Closing thoughts. We're going to give our closing thoughts and give a rating out of 5.
Okay.
I'm going to go 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Honestly, here's the thing. If you like the Scream franchise, I don't see why you wouldn't like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's the 4th one. I could see why this didn't do well. I could see why people were kind of over it at this point, but like, I don't know. I'm a big fan. I think it is a very unique horror franchise in that there's a lot of red herrings and it's a whodunit and there's a different killer. So it's kind of, is it more of the same? Yes, but I don't know. I liked it. So 4 out of 5 for me.
Okay. I was originally thinking like a 3.5, 3.75. And I think the reason I'm scoring it lower than you is because I'm comparing it to the first and second one more than I am. Just
well, I would give the first Scream like.
I'd give it a 5.
I probably would give it a 5.
I'd give
like
the first one
I would
5.
give Scream 2 like a 4.5, maybe.
I think I'd give the second one 4.9.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was pretty much just as good. I'd give the third one probably like a 3.
I give it a 3.5. I like the third one.
Yeah. I like this. I liked all of them a lot, but I don't know if it's quite up to a 4. Like it didn't. The twist and everything didn't catch me surprised.
I
surprised
did.
Like the first 3.
I will say, like I called it.
Yeah, like it seemed a little predictable. The whole rules and thing, like it almost seemed like they were making fun of having rules more than the rules actually existed.
I was fine with that though.
It's one of those shows where it's like everything, or those movies where like everything you can say against it can also be a reason.
That's a good point.
So
yeah, that's why I think this got mixed reviews because the people were like, "Hey, like, oh, it's
bad because of this," and then people are like, "No, it's good because of that."
That's why it's a perfect for this podcast.
Yeah. I'll go with 3.75.
All right.
3 reels and 3 shots.
Oh. All right. Cool.
Trying to think of a fun one.
All right. Well, that was Scream 4. Hey, this was fun. Thanks for coming on. And listen, episode 10's coming up. And I'm telling everybody now, it's going to be Grease 2. And Molly's going to be on it. And I want you on it because I want to recapture some of that cat's magic.
Okay, yeah. We watched.
So I'm having you back on for Grease 2. You've never seen it. It's going to be fun. I've never
seen it. But the original Grease is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Even more reason for you to watch it. So, okay. Well, that was Scream 4. Everybody, thanks for listening. I will see you guys next week.